connect. Right, we're on Wi-Fi, I think. We should be okay now. Good morning to you. Got here as soon as I could. The Bomberish alarm has gone off, calling me to some calm and peace, a pause practice. So wanted to do this direct to camera today because something occurred to me last night regarding this daily practice and what's going on in the world at the moment. But first things first, let's feel the weight of the body on the chair. Been a busy morning. If maybe you've had a busy morning too. If not physically, then quite possibly mentally. And that can build up, can't it? The deposits of thinking, or the static charges that are created. I'm mixing up a lot of metaphors here, but you can create static, which could do with a good grounding, which hopefully doesn't come as a shock and isn't in any way pleasant, but we can earth and ground the static created by the morning's thoughts and activity. And another metaphor might be how a boiled kettle, as it's boiling and heating the water, the element gets scaled and the residual water inside the kettle can become scaly in a hard water area, and you end up with deposits. So let's put some vinegar. Let's alkalize the hard water of the mind, if that is indeed the right chemical formula, and see if we can break up and allow the residues to flow out of us by grounding, by maybe just metaphorically actually having your feet on the ground and allowing any static build-up, any calcification, any sediment to just run away, find its way back to the earth, and allow ourselves to feel freer and clearer and cleaner, and certainly stiller and more peaceful through connecting with the senses, by connecting with the senses, feeling the weight of the body on the chair. I'm feeling the phone in my hand, clothes on the skin. There's no bright sunshine today warming my bones or warming up my dark sweater pullover here. But if I pause for a moment, I can feel a bit of a breeze, and I can be aware of the sensation of having skin with nerves in it. My skin is one huge, our skin, the skin that we live in is a huge sensory receptor, is it not? And even when it's not directly holding or feeling something, there is a barely perceivable tingling. I mean, it'll vary from person to person, but maybe you can feel the life in your lips, the life in your cheeks, the life in your forehead, or a residual pressure in the belly or the shoulders. There's always something there if we become still enough to perceive it and become aware of it. And at the same time, I think this is a somewhat cleansing act. It's an act of letting go, of cleansing, and it's a very difficult thing to describe or articulate. I'll just say it. I think there's a benefit that comes from being still that is not an earned benefit, if you like, or a gotten benefit. It's something that just arises through the dynamic of being still. It's like we're blessed with something. We're rewarded, if you like, for being still. The finer states of humanity come to us in our stillness, it would appear. Stillness, peacefulness, harmlessness. I trust I'm not doing anyone any harm right now. I can begin to think about that and construct a case for how that might be the case, ideologically or rationally, or with a particular kind of worldly logic, just by virtue of existing, I might be putting upon others. But just on the face of it, in essence, being still is about as harmless as you could be, right? I'm not actively harming anyone or anything or intending to right now. And there seems to be a blessing for us human beings in being in this state. It is intrinsic if you like. So I hope you're sensing that, are aware of that too, of the stillness and the blessing of stillness. Not my blessing, please don't get me wrong, I'm not some sort of bishop here dishing out, the dishing bishop, dishing out peace to people. That is, only you can do that for yourself. I'm merely inviting and evoking the circumstances for that to take place. And I'm allowing it for myself, primarily. So let's dwell in that for a moment or two. And incorporate whatever peace practice you use. And get benefit from, more importantly. What is your route to harmlessness and peace and joy? And I notice a bird singing. Immediately I say that. As well as the noises of the neighbourhood, the car passing, but the birds are singing, the children are playing, and all is well in this moment. Until it's not. That's life, right? That's living. But for now, it's all nice and good and easy and peaceful. And if perhaps we can remain, again, it's very difficult to verbalize because I don't want to convey a sense of holding on to the peace. But how might it be that we can continue to enjoy that peace, that blessing, as we move or open up to the world again, as we go about our business? And I think it's very important to do that. I watched a video last night about mass psychosis, and it seems to me that is the best description of what's going on in the world at the moment. Beyond transcending the poles of any particular dispute, and it just seems in the realm of human communication at the moment, it's all about which side you're on, or do you think this or do you think that? Do you like those people or those people? Are you for those people or against those people? And everything, these are symptoms of psychosis, and it's so prevalent. Unless you don't make it prevalent, unless you act, you proactively eschew and avoid those scenarios. But it's pretty pervasive, I think it's fair to say. And that's what struck me. Beyond the sides, beyond the disputes between people, is the context of mass psychosis. And if I would go as far as to say, if at any time we find ourselves being triggered by these tests or whatever they are, or petitions to come down on the side of some ideology or other, we too are succumbing to the psychosis. And I would go as far as to say, any partiality, any sense of no longer being universal and united, is you've succumbed to the group psychosis, which seems so prevalent, seems to be such a marker of our times and our so-called civilization. And this, I would say as well, I'll be even bolder now, bolder, not balder, I'll be even bolder as to say this is a grounding, this is a route to peace that transcends the psychosis. This is like anti-psychotic medicine, if you like. To come into your senses, to be in your reality, your sensory reality, to be where your body is a hugely revolutionary act. It's an esoteric, so-called spiritual activity, isn't it? And it's just the most obvious, grounded, common sense thing anyone could ever do. It's not really spiritual. It needn't be esoteric. It needn't be oggly-boggly, woogly-boogly, new agey. It's just truly normal and real to be where your body is and where your senses are, and to be there, dealing with it, engaging with it, without bringing in too much psychosis. Without evoking the psychosis of the times in any given situation. And that's where we seem to be. Where we seem to be. And this is the anti-psychotic medicine. To connect with your senses, to be in your reality, the reality of where your body is right now, and to be grounded and to be connected to the real, to the good. And I don't mean good in a moral sense. I mean when it feels good, when you feel the goodness inside you by being peaceful. That to me is reality. That is our gift and our human possibility to sense the good and reflect on it and say, yes, this is good. I am enjoying this. So there you go. There's your anti-psychotic medicine, which I suggest you take after every meal, during the meal, before the meal, and as much as you can. You can't really overdose on this. The problem is not overdosing on anti-psychotic medicine, as in I'm talking about here. I'm not suggesting you go and chow down all your whatever, sedatives and God knows what else is being prescribed for this condition we're talking about. But I don't think you can overdose on being grounded and truly in your reality. An overdose of reality, what would that be? That would just be like living your life, really, wouldn't it? And of course, that does evoke all sorts of other ideological, emotional and psychic possibilities, potentials. We're always on the edge of being triggered away from this grounded reality where we are now. And the way to manage that, as I see it, is to is to ground, is to be real, is to be in the reality of your senses in your body. And it's an ongoing practice. So yes, thank you, Gabby. Let's be in our reality and focus on peace, align with this emotion of goodness and peacefulness. Yeah, and I would just add to that, I'm not sure it's an emotion of goodness. I think it's like, it is just what it is. It's, the good is, if it is an emotion, it's like the finest of emotions. It's so emotional. It's not an emotion anymore. It's just like, it's where we can be. It's where we came from. It's where I suspect we will be returning to when everything's calmed down, or when we calm ourselves down. And we live in a time where because I think it's a dark age in many ways. It's so strange that the act of being peaceful and existing in the goodness is now an occult practice. Tells you something about the age we live in, does it not? So come on, let's us occultists, us esotericians or whatever, esoterics, the so-called spiritual people. This can only be done on an individual and immediate, what's that lovely word, imminent basis. It's either happening now or it's not. And that's all there is to it, which is pretty hard to swallow. It's a bitter pill to swallow when we're talking about taking the anti-psychotic medicine of stillness, peace, and the good. So go well. See how much of the anti-psychotic grounding process you can bring into your life today, and be careful out there, because it's just like wherever you go, there's people who want to drag you into the psychotic mess with them. You mark my words, that they're out there already waiting for you. So do what you can to love them, avoid them, and come back to the middle, away from the madness and into the middle. And I wish you well. Bye for now.